All right, guys. Let's wanted to get into kind of some of the financials for Magic, some of the stuff that's coming out, and a few opportunities that I think are really good out in the market right now that people might not be thinking about. So first, I want to talk about this new Festival in a Box, which looks really, really good. Love the art on these. We'll look up a couple of them so everybody can get an idea of what these, especially these singles, might be going for. Love that Land War Elves. I don't know why feel like they're making a new Utopia Sprawl like every week. I don't know why they're so focused on that card, but we've seen I think like 3 or 4 of them in the past month or so. But let's take a look at some of these. So obviously it comes with a mystery box 2, which is huge. It'll be around $250 for the first maybe 2 or 3 weeks once it comes out, and then those usually jump up. Let's see what those are right now. Looks like low is $284, which is, and then jumps up to $295. Oh, this is no box for $284, so $295. Basically, $300 is the low. That's pretty standard. That's around what they've been. You can see the high here was $305. Several months, like they'll go up above $300. Looks like $338 was the high in April. Kind of in between when they do the new Festival in a Boxes. So always a super safe bet. I don't know what the price on this. Usually they're like, is it $200? $199. Yep. So instant value there. You know, you buy the festival for $200. You instantly get a box that's worth $250 right away. $300 a month or so later. And then these singles are really good. This is a good one. So this Nissa, I just looked this up. Oh, maybe not. So the cheapest listing for this Nissa, cheapest possible version, is the etched foil, which is $22. This one's obviously, it's a really cool one. I like the art on this quite a bit. This whole vibe is pretty cool, all the arts. So I would expect that to be a little more expensive. Also important that there's not a borderless or borderless foil version of this card right now. So I think there'll be a premium just because of that, because a lot of people like playing the borderless versions of cards. I think most people would agree that's kind of the premier version for any card. So I think that's a big thing. If we look at like the retro foil, low's $27. I would expect to get something in that same range. These are going to sell out immediately, especially with these cards. This is going to be one of those things that sells out in 30 minutes. So if you want to get one, like for me, I've always had pretty good luck getting Secret Lairs in general, but I always show up an hour early, or really like an hour, 15 minutes. I'll have everything set up. I'll put things in my cart the night before, so I can just go right into, as soon as, like the second it goes live, I can just go right into the queue. So a little bit of preparation, and I haven't missed a Secret Lair in a long time. I think the last one I missed was maybe the Kieran Yanner. But literally, I've gotten every single Secret Lair. So if you really want one, just spend the extra hour. You don't have to sit there and babysit it. Once you're queued, that whole hour leading up to when it actually launches, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be present for it. But you just have to remember, I'm on the East Coast, so it's noon. If you're on the West Coast, it's 9 a.m. Like, you have to be there to click checkout at the exact moment it goes live. But if you do, I'll make a bunch of windows in different windows, so that I've got a few different queues going, and that'll increase your odds a lot. You'll notice that each queue that you have, like each separate window that's open, and I'm not talking tabs, I'm talking totally separate windows, but each one will have a different queue time. So if you want to increase your odds, I typically do, 7 or 8 different windows, and at least one of those will have a pretty quick queue time, usually under 10 minutes or so, and you'll have a really good odds of getting one. But next card here is the Ramanap Excavator, which is not a super expensive card. Again, it's the only borderless foil one that has ever been printed. Playing lands from your graveyard is obviously a really popular thing. The closest, I guess, comparison would be like this Ripple foil one, maybe. But at the end of the day, it's a $5 card, so it's going to add some value. Not a ton of it, but it is a pretty cool one. And if people do want to play this card, they're probably going to want this one because it's pretty damn cool. 6, another good card. I think this is usually around $8 or $10. It's going to be hard to look up. Let's try by best match. Yeah, there we go. So we got a borderless 6, $10 in the non-foil. The foil is $32, and that's LP. Near mint, $37. That's way more than I thought, actually. That's really crazy. So really just between this and the Nissa, you're at like $60 just in those two. And then the $5 card. Tireless Provisioner, not a super valuable card, but a classic card. Used a lot. There's really cheap versions of this. But it's like a $2 card. The only, I don't know if I'd compare it to this. The only comparable borderless foil would be this one. I've never, I don't speak Spanish. So for me, this is not, a version that I seek out, and I don't know how much of this value is because, maybe people who do speak Spanish like the little bit of representation there, and they're seeking it out because of that. It does have really consistent sales, like selling one every few days, which is, yeah, I mean, fair enough. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd expect this to be a $10 version. But I think, $6 or $7 is probably fair. The Titania. Another good card, not as used as much as the other ones. $5.80 for the non-foil and the borderless. Another like $8.75 is the low. With shipping, like $9.75. It's another good value card. Like there's so much value in just these. And then Utopia Sprawl is not much. Atrax is pretty cool. Another really expensive card. Like a new fancy version of it. Like the only borderless one is in foil. It's super expensive, $72 low. Again, you can't bank on. And 63 for the non-foil. Wow, that's really crazy. You can't necessarily bank on these being the same value as like the normal borderless foil counterpart. But I will say, like, there's going to be a lot less of these on the market than the normal one. So it might stick pretty high. I can see this being for sure like a $50 card. Land War Elves, I love this thing. I'm a big sucker for like classic cards in general. So I really like Land War Elves. Obviously, they're worth pennies. But, there's fancy versions of them that are worth some money. So I don't know what you compare it to. Not the Halo foil. Maybe like a promo one or something like that. Well, this is a regular borderless from the encyclopedia. And $21, so this, like, that's pretty damn cool. I love the art on this thing. But, like, this Future Sight is dope. Like, a foil Future Sight Land War Elves, that's awesome. I love that. So, really, really cool card. I think this would be pretty sought after. Again, Land War Elves, like, one of the most classic Magic cards ever made. Like, iconic card. So I can see this going around $20. So, I mean, total value in this thing is, I don't know what this all adds up to, maybe like $4.50 or something. but like so much value in these extra cards between the Secret Lair and these promos. So really exciting to me. This is one of the best festival unboxes we've seen in quite a while. So yeah, I mean, if you can get them, like I would for sure do whatever you can do to get there an hour early. If you're looking to flip these, I mean, this whole festival in a box, I cannot imagine it's going to sell for less than 400, like immediately. And then if you break it up and you're looking to sell the singles separately, you're going to make even more than that. So really, really good value. Honestly, I think there's a world where this, a sealed festival goes for 500. I can see that for sure. Next big thing is another really incredible Secret Lair. This is one of the best Secret Lairs I think I've ever seen as far as what's in it. A couple really other iconic, obviously Soul Ring it's a Soul Ring. We all know it. We all love it. And really, really cool art. I like that a lot. It's definitely going to have a solid premium to it. The Dark Ritual as well. Like, this thing is going to look amazing in foil. I'm a huge Dark Ritual fan. Again, I love like the classics. So I'm super stoked just to get this. I'll keep it. I don't think I'm going to sell this one unless I manage to get a few of the boxes. But really dope. I can see the Dark Rit going $20, $25 for sure. Although I do have some concerns about the Secret Lair we'll talk about in a second. Finale Devastation is a massive card. Like, really expensive card. So the only borderless version of it in non-foil is, let's look at near mint, $77 in non-foil. And you get to the foil one, it's over 100, $112.49. Super expensive card. And that's something like we never see. When's the last time we saw a card that was over $100 put in a Secret Lair? Like, that's insanity. Like, really, really crazy. Obviously, they wanted this to be a really good high value one, and it goes to a good cause. Half the money goes to the Global Fund for Women. But that's a really crazy include. Like, I'm super surprised they would put a card that big. Lathril, obviously a great card for elf decks. People play it. People like it. Coat of Arms, another solid like $20 card. We've got a couple borderless versions from Secret Lairs that range. This one's rainbow foil for 22, it looks like. And this one, foil is 19. Or, man, I hate how they do this shipping thing now. You see these things, like you'll see a card like this, and it'll say like $8 and then $25 in shipping. It's insane. I'm not loving that. Path of Ancestry, who cares, right? There's so many of those out there. There's no value to it. And Cultivate's a card people use. It's a pretty cool version. You got Grandma there with some vegetables, but a lot of value in this. I mean, there are a few concerns, right? So it is print to demand, and there's a couple things to consider with that. So the first thing is we don't know what the cap is on how many you can order. So like a true print demand, I could go on and order 100. And if that's the case, where there's not like a cap on how many you can order, and I can kind of see a world where that happens because they're, half the money's getting donated. They want these out there. It's going to do a few things. The price on this card, Finale Devastation, is going to tank. All versions. Because the market will just get flooded with these. And also, the prices on this whole Secret Lair, all the singles, are going to tank pretty hard as well, just because there's going to be so many out there. What I think is more likely, I can see him doing a higher minimum than normal, and maybe capping it at like 4 or 5 or something like that. One thing I've noticed recently that I'm not sure, I don't know if they've always done this and I just noticed it, or if it's a new thing in general. But you can now go onto the Secret Lair website and you can order older Secret Lairs, like it seems to start like a week or two after the release, and order up to 5 copies. So you're not capped at 2 forever anymore. And again, maybe it's always been like this, and I just never go back and look. But so for this one, it's I think it's, I want to say it's like 2 weeks that you're able to buy it. Does it say here somewhere? Maybe not. But I think it's like between 10 days and 2 weeks that it's going to be open to order. Oh, here we go. July 20th to August 3rd. So you've got 2 weeks to buy it, and it's print to demand, so we know it's not going to sell out. So as many as people buy will be out there. And that's going to some extent, suppress the value on all these singles, right? Like it's still a really cool Dark Ritual. It's still going to have some pretty good value, but there's going to be a lot more in the market than any other normal Secret Lair, just because it can't possibly sell out. It's just not, that's not a possibility with this one because it's print to demand, and it's up for quite a while. 2 weeks is a long time. So I would not look at like this Finale Devastation. It's not going to be $100 like the other one, just because there's going to be so many more in the market. We probably will see the price of this go down to some extent for this other version of it. It's not going to, drop to $5, but I can see it going down to $75, $80 when all these flood into the market. Because, for a lot of people, why pay $112 when I could pay, I would guess this will be maybe a $50, $60 version of it in foil. So either way, there's a ton of value in this. I think this will be probably a $50, $60 card in the Finale Devastation. Coat of Arms, probably still $15 card. It's still a great card, and that art is sick. Lathril, I think the borderless foil, I want to say is also like $20. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, not the mana foil. Yeah, like $25, $26. So again, I don't think it's going to have the same value as this one that you can pull from Foundations. But I think it'll still be probably a $15 card. But either way, there's a lot of value in this. Soul Ring, I think, will still be 20 plus. So a ton of value in it. The price it's $10 higher than normal Secret Lair. So the non-foil is 40, the foil is 50. But there's no way this is less than $100 in cards. And I think there's depending on how many people order and how many flood onto the market, and also when they get sent out to people. I think a real thing to consider is, sometimes Wizards takes a very long time to ship. Like I just got a bunch of the Strixhaven Secret Lairs, which were not great ones. But it took them, I just got them a week ago. And it was, like 2 months ago that we could order those. So it took them a really long time. And if these, especially where they're print to demand, if these take months to go out and they don't all dump out to everybody at once, they're just going in small batches out to people, and it's really spread out. That's going to keep the price higher for these as well. So that's obviously not something within our control. We can't do anything to change that. We have no clue how it's going to be sent out. But if that does happen, and if it's not shipped out all at once, and people are getting them, every week, a bunch of people get them, but not too many, and they're not just dumped on TCG Player all at once, and there's thousands of each one available, then that'll keep the prices higher, just because there's not as much supply in the market. And it could be a really limited supply because it's spread out over months and months. So either way, I think there's no possible way to lose buying this one. There's no way that this is not going to be $50 worth of cards. I think absolute worst case scenario, it's still $100 in value. So really, another really strong buy as far as the cards in it. One of the best Secret Lairs I think I've ever seen. So yeah, really good. Buy this. This and the festival are both just killers, absolute killers. Really exciting. I'm a big fan of Secret Lairs, so it's always exciting to me to see stuff like this. A couple other things I wanted to talk about, and this is a big one right now, is these jump starts. So there's a couple things, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, and I've heard this now from at least 10 or 12 different sources. Two main things. So one, Wizards accidentally, as in apparently this was like somebody's mistake, they accidentally short printed jumpstarts. And jumpstarts are designed to be something that's like openly available for everyone to always buy, right? It's not supposed to be something that sells out. These are like mainly for new players. So somebody who doesn't know how to play Magic can go out with their buddy. They can each buy 2 jumpstarts, and all of a sudden, they can play each other. You don't need to build a deck. You just grab 2 of these packs and you can play a game. And they work really well for that. It's a good product. Every jumpstart set has a few cards that end up being big, relatively expensive cards. Like in Avatar, you had like Toph. And a few of the other Bending Master cards. Cabbage Merchant was in there. This Jumpstart in particular has a ton of really good value cards. So 2 things. So one is they short printed it. So there's significantly less Jumpstarts than they intended to make are available. And the other big thing is I know of at least 2 of the largest distributors, where tons of stores buy cards from, are completely sold out. And I'm hearing now that some of the smaller ones are selling out as well. So to a large extent, like stores can no longer buy these. They are no longer available for stores to get more of. So what we've seen because of that is obviously the price on these. When they first came out, it was like $100. Now the low is $170, and they're shooting up fast. The most important thing to take away from this is, Wizards has, I'm sure everybody, watching the videos has heard there's a big problem in the card industry as a whole, where there's not enough printers to print the demand, right? So they can't physically print enough cards to satiate the demand of all the people buying cards. And that's Magic and Pokemon and, One Piece and whatever. There's just not enough printers out there to print enough cards that there's extras. So the tough thing with that is it puts Wizards in a position where they have to decide, do we want to do a reprint of an old set, or do we want to print this new set and make sure there's enough of the new one to get out to everybody so it doesn't sell out. For Wizards, like, they don't want things to completely sell out, because when something sells out, that means that they lost money from sales. There would have been more sales, but there wasn't product for people to buy. So, the price on because there's not enough printers to print as much, they can't just say, hey, print us another, million boxes of Jumpstarts, right? That's not possible. They have to make decisions where, okay, do we want to print less, Hobbit's probably printed, do we want to print less Reality Fracture so that we can get these Jumpstarts out to people quickly? And that's a tough question to answer. It also takes some time to actually get these printed, and it's not like it's not weeks, it takes months. So best case scenario, I think it would be 2 to 3 months before we see any kind of reprints on the Jumpstarts. And worst case scenario, I think they just don't reprint it, because they're going to get through, obviously, we all know Hobbit's going to have insane demand, and then you've got Reality Fracture not far behind it, and then you're into Star Trek, and it's like, when do you fit these in, and is the demand for these, like, are people going to care? Once Hobbit comes out, Reality Fracture comes out, do people really want more superhero Jumpstarts? And I don't know, maybe the answer is no, like, at that point. So real possibility with these that they don't print more. Best case scenario, they print more in 2 to 3 months. And the price on this is just going to keep going up because people are going to open them. I open a ton of these. The value of the cards inside these is significantly more than the cost right now. There's a website I use here. It's called theexpectedvalue.com. Really good website. I'm a huge fan of it. And this will give you like the EV for or the estimated value. So how much you can expect to pull in value from any given box. So like if we're, and then how much profit you'll make. So if we're paying 170 for a box, and we can do a sift of like, we don't care about cards that are $2 or less. The value of cards we're going to pull is $280. So if you buy a box of this right now and you just rip it open and sell off all the cards, the value of the cards is going to be $279 after some fees. Oh no, sorry, that's the low. So this is including fees. After you pay everything, $279 is what you'll take home, which is crazy, right? That's like massive profit. Your break even, like to buy a box of it and break even, is $279, and right now you can buy them for $169. That never happens in Magic. Like this never ever happens, aside from if you try to calculate it for like during pre-release, you'd see numbers like this. But like, to be clear, there's no boxes in Magic aside from this one, and maybe to some extent one other one I'll show you guys in a bit, where the cards that you open are of more value than the cost of it sealed. It just doesn't work that way. You know, Magic typically, you know, you're going to get best case 70%, and what ends up happening is people figure this out, and they see, oh, I can pay $170 and I can get $280 back, and people start buying them and the price starts going up. So this, like, the estimated value can be a really good predictor of what the future value of a box is going to be. If it's ever higher than the price, you can bet everything that the price of that box is going to increase to at least meet the expected value of opening it. The other big thing to consider with these, and this is really important, is the lack of reprints doesn't just affect the sealed box. It also affects all the singles in it. So a lot of these cards are, this is like the most valuable jumpstart ever made in terms of the cards included. Like, there's more very expensive cards in this than any other jumpstart ever. And these are all cards you can only get in the jumpstart. At least, not all these, but not like the ones that say Surge Foil. But like Loki, Lord of Misrule, you can only get this in the jumpstart, or you can get a foil version in the collector. For non-foil, you can only get it in jumpstart. And the low right now is 7704. And what we're seeing now is there was a big drop-off. You know, always at the official release, everybody can all of a sudden list all these cards on TCG Player. So you have this huge drop, and values just plummet, which was right here. Dropped down to, it started around, looks like $64, dropped way down to $58, and now it's all the way up to $77.04. And the reason we're seeing this is there's just not that many of them. You know, there weren't a lot of jumpstarts to begin with. Those got sold, and now like there's only 22 listings. That's really insane. Like, that's really insane. Like, I'll pull up. Let's look at just superheroes cards in general, just to give you an idea. Normal cards, like 1,000 listings of Hawkeye's Bow. Let's look at the like mythic cards. Jennifer Walters, 127. Bruce Banner, 224. We got Thanos here with 128. Like, these are normal. Typically, you see between, on the low end, if something's really popular, like Mjolnir has 60, because people are just buying the shit out of this card right now, selling 30 a day. 50 the other day, 60. So to have a card that's only got 22 listings, a popular card that's selling quite like 37, this is selling more than Mjolnir. That's really insane. And this number is just going to keep going down. And the way, you know, obviously prices work is as people buy these, let's just look at the near mints. So people are going to buy these 3, and then it's going to be 80 bucks. And then people are going to buy a couple of these, and it's going to be 85 bucks. And, you know, this isn't a card, and before you know it, you know, like, so in the past couple of days, 37 have sold, which is more than we have total here. Oh, there's 21 listings now. I think somebody just literally bought one just now. So what's going to happen, like by the end of the day today, some people are going to buy all these. These will be gone, and we'll be on deep into the second page, if not onto the third page. Some people will list some, so I would guess it'll probably end the day 90 to 100 range. But because the supply is so low, like they're just going to keep getting bought, and the demand's super high. Like 37, like selling 20 cards a day of any specific card is a lot. Like that's a really popular card, especially for a very expensive card like this. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to blast through these higher prices. And this, like, I wouldn't be surprised if by Monday it's over 100 bucks, if not way sooner. There's a bunch of other really big cards in Jumpstart as well. You've got Vision and Scarlet Witch, which has jumped up a lot recently. This was $46, $43 at its lowest point. And release hit, and it jumped up. It was 84 for a couple days. That would have been, yeah, just a few days ago, and now low 69. But another card that's selling steady, you know, 10, 16 for those couple days, or 21, sorry, 16. Like, there's a lot of copies, and a couple more 58 listings just because it's not selling as much. But another card, like all these big Jumpstart cards, all the prices are going to go up. The low-key is crazy because there's so few listings. And I'd be willing to bet too, if we look at, so we've got like Doom here. It's got 91 listings with foil and non-foil combined. Near mint is 82. And if we look at the normal, which you can only get the non-foil in Jumpstarts, now there's only 44. So another like small amount of them out there. There's just not a ton of these. So needless to say, over the next couple of months, the price of all these big Jumpstart cards is just going to keep going up. I think there's a real shot that you can have a card like Loki end up being a $200 card. You know, just because there's so few of them around. The ones I'm not quite as certain about are the cards that are like under $20. You know, there's just not as much excitement around them. There'll be more common pulls from boxes. So like stuff like this Wolverine. In Jumpstarts, the different decks that you can pull are sorted by rarity, just like cards. So there's significantly less of the like mythic Jumpstart pulls in each box. I want to say there's maybe 2 or 3 in each box. And that's where you get like the Doom and the Loki and Scarlet Witch and Vision. But like something like the Wolverine Claws Out, this is in a rare box. These are relatively common to pull. Like I get one of the Wolverine ones in most boxes I open. Like almost every box I'll get one of these. Same with like the Hulk is another one. You know, so there's going to be a lot more of those out in the market. And I don't think we'll see the same big jump in price out of the cheaper ones. But needless to say, if you can get your hands on these at any price, like to me, it 170 doesn't even matter, because we know that there's not more coming. So we can extrapolate and say there's going to be less in the market and the price is going to go up. And there's so much value to be found in these. You know, like the average box is going to pull $100 more in value than the cost. So like they're just going to keep selling like crazy. I'm actually kind of interested. How many of these are selling right now? So like 40 a day. That's going to go so much higher. Or 20 a day, sorry. And there's only 23 out there. Holy shit. Now I need to buy more of these. This is another one. I think there's a real shot. I mean, if we just look at how many are selling versus how many listings, I think there's a good shot by Monday. This is going to be 180, 190, 200 bucks. By the second page, yeah, you're at like 190. But really smart buy, jump starts. If you can get them, get as many as you can. I'm buying them every time I see them. And really, like, regardless of price. I don't even care. I'll buy a bunch of these today. I'll probably buy... Probably like these. Like, I'll probably buy like 25 of them. Just because they're so good. I ripped 2 of them last night, just to give you an idea of the value. And I only counted cards that were $10 and over. So all the other cards, which hold value, which you can sell and make money from, just the cards that were $10 plus, from 2 boxes was like $350. And that's not including all the other cards, which there's a lot that are, not huge hits. There's some uncommons that are really good too. Multiverse something. That's like a $10 uncommon. I got it right here. Multiversal Recruitment. Carolina Dean from the Runways, which is also where the Nico card comes from, which is like a $35 card. But the Carolina Dean Runaway is also like $10 or $12. But just tons of value. If you can find them, buy all the jump starts you can. The other interesting thing I wanted to touch on from Superheroes is just a weird experience that I've had with the Draft Knights and the Mind Stones. So these are cheap. $76. Really $90. There's $14 of shipping. I hate that. But so, and I'm really interested to hear other people's experience with the Draft Knights and the pre-releases, and I'll explain why. But something odd that I've noticed, I've opened a lot. Like I have a show on Whatnot. Tyler Cracks Packs is the name of that show. Definitely come and check it out. I do auctions every Friday and Saturday at 7 on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And mainly I just open a lot of collector boxes and we auction all the cards. It's a great time. Really awesome community on Whatnot. So I open a ton of sealed product. I've opened around 45 collector boosters, or boxes, sorry, from Superheroes, and probably 25, 30 play boxes. From those, from 45 collectors, 25 play boxes, I've pulled 1 Mind Stone from the collector. None from the play boxes at all. Then I've opened 16 Draft Knights, which each come with 12 play boosters and 1 collector. And from 16 Draft Knights, I've pulled 3 foil and 3 non-foil Mind Stones. And I've also heard of pre-release events where basically everyone's pre-release experience, at least one person there pulled a Mind Stone. A lot of pre-releases I've heard about, a bunch of people pulled them, which makes me think that there's at least a potential possibility that they made 2 different versions of play boosters, and the reasoning behind it kind of makes sense. And again, this is totally nothing, there's no proof of this. This is just something that I've noticed, and if it is the case, then the value of these boxes should be much higher than it than it is right now. But it seems kind of logical that, you know, from Wizards, from a marketing standpoint, they would want to have like the premier card in the set opened in social environments, right? They want obviously pre-release events. If you watch somebody pull a Mind Stone, most people are going to think, well, shit, if he can do it, then I can do it too. And they're going to want to go buy some packs too and see if they can also pull a Mind Stone. Same thing where if you're, you know, draft nights are designed for somebody to buy and then have a few friends over and 4 people do a draft together. That's what they're made for. So also, you know, it's a social experience. And the idea is, you know, Wizards would want people to pull the top card in front of other people. Versus like play boosters, collector boosters are designed just to be opened by yourself. You know, in your car, in your living room, at the store, you know, wherever. But it's not a social experience opening a play booster. And it definitely is a social experience opening draft nights or pre-release. So it kind of makes sense that Wizards, you know, if you're at your house with your buddies, you crack open a draft night, and one of you hits a freaking Mind Stone, like the other guys are going to want to go buy some packs and try to get their own Mind Stone. So it seems, you know, there's some logic behind the argument. My experience has been, again, 16 draft night boxes, pulled 6 Mind Stones, versus 25 play boxes and 45 collector boxes, 12 packs in each box, and only pulling 1 between all those. So my experience is it was way more likely, like 1 out of every 2.5 draft nights had a Mind Stone. And if that is the case, where even if it's like 1 in 5 of these has a Mind Stone versus 1 in like 10 or 20, if the odds are that much higher, then the value inside these boxes would need to be reevaluated. Because, you know, a 1 in 5 chance of hitting a, you know, $100 card or $70 card would increase the value of opening it, or the estimated value of opening it, by $15 or $20. These are already a really good value. I'm a big fan of draft nights in general, just because the prices are pretty low typically. $90 for a collector booster and 12 play boosters is a very good deal. You know, 12 play boosters, I think individual play boosters sell for like $6 each, but you know, you can value them at I don't know, $4. Let me see what it works out to. I think 112 is what the play boxes are selling for. So yeah, like $4 a pack. And collector boosters are 42. So you've got roughly $48 in play booster value, plus 42 is $90, right? So you're getting like exact value for your money at 91, and they tend to go a little bit lower as time goes on. Like if we look at other draft nights, like the Ninja Turtles one, $85 is the low. Don't be fooled by the expensive shipping. $75 ones are $14.99 shipping and $70. But $85, typically they sit around $85 once the set's been out for a little bit. Same thing. Strix right now is really low and could be a really good opportunity. It just tanked so hard. Look at this. Crazy tank. Nobody's buying them. Oh, actually, wow. Somebody bought a lot of these. Somebody is cornering the market right there. Look at that. From 30 a day to 79. Somebody saw a big exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody saw a big opportunity to buy in between 65 and 75 and just bought a ton of them. Oh, I'm not logged in, so we can't see that. But yeah, bought 4 at 65. And I mean, any draft night to me, just because of that collector, I don't even care what set it's from. If you can get a draft night for under $75, it's a really good deal. Really good deal. Also around 85 for the Lorwyn ones. I think that's when they started making them. But generally speaking, they haven't been out long enough to know like a long-term resale value on these. But my guess is that the market will see the value in these pretty soon, and I think we'll start to see, especially Lorwyn, I think is going to start increasing, and then maybe as time goes on, Strixhaven is really tough because the only value right now is from the Mystical Archives. Like the rest of Strixhaven just tanked so hard. It's like unbelievable how poorly the cards are doing. This is sorted high to low. So, like, take out the crazy serialized card. But, like, the highest card is $13, $14 in the whole set. That's... Emeritus of Ideation is now a $6 card. There's just no value left in the set. It's really kind of sad because I liked the experience. I liked opening it. I love these, the Paradigm cards. I really like those. And they've got a little bit of value. It's good to see the green one jumped up. This used to be one of the cheaper ones. Look at that. But I love the Paradigm cards. But I think these will, you know, every set. I'm sure you guys have noticed this, but with every single set, doesn't matter what it is. A couple months after it releases, they all tank, and then they'll slowly go up. We can look at like Lorwyn play boxes. Look at the 6 months. It starts high, comes out. A couple months in, it drops. It's down close to $100, and now it's starting to pick up again. I wish I kept. I bought a few cases of. I think I bought like 4 cases of the Lorwyn play boosters. They were actually. I bought them for like $90 a box. It was a really good deal. Oh yeah, you could buy them for $90 back then. They were really good to rip. Like the value inside them was good because of all the shock lands. And you get the Squelcher and a couple other cards, but I kind of wish I kept them now because I think a couple months from now, these will be 140, 150. They'll just steadily creep back up. But we will see the same thing with Lorwyn. With Strixhaven, where right now it's getting pretty low. It's probably going to go lower. The play boxes are 130 still. That's going to go down. These will probably get down close to 100. That's your time to buy them once you see it get that low, and then a couple months later, they'll pick back up and creep back up towards 150. There's no boxes that stay $100 forever. Like this is another good one to look at. And another one I bought a bunch of these and just opened them all. But you know, you get your big dip, got down to 109, and then it shoots up 130. Now their low is 132, 133. So anytime, like every single set, this is a really smart long-term strategy in general. But just wait a couple months until after the set comes out, prices are going to drop. Buy them while they're super cheap, and then you know, they're going to increase 30% a couple months later. Smart. See where the Turtles play boosters are at right now with Turtles. I mean, look at that plunge. Like, say what you want about Turtles as a set, they're not going to be, in a couple months, they're not going to be $100. You know, they'll be just like every other set that's ever been made. They're going to jump back up, and they'll be, you know, 130 like everything else. Maybe more. Depends if, you know, cards get use. But really strong buy in Turtles. And the last thing a couple things I wanted to mention. New Capenna, I think, might be an interesting opportunity right now. It's so absurdly cheap. $250 for a collector box. When's the last time I saw that? aside from this set. Super cheap, and there is some pretty good value, specifically in the lands. You know, you've got Raffian's Tower, you've got like lands that are known to be really good in the Triumph lands, that have good value. These are all the prices for the foils, but like there's a decent amount of good pulls in here. Collectors, obviously, in general, right now the market's just exploding on collectors. New Capenna hasn't really been affected by that. Well, we've seen a bit of a jump, like in the past month. Yeah, I mean, that's like $6 though. That's not a big jump at all. So sure, they were close to $200 a few months ago, but still, $250 is a really low entry point for any collector. And we're seeing a lot of boxes that just don't have that much value inside them that are jumping up. Like, let's look at some of these. That's high to low. Let's go like page 3. Okay, so like some of these sets are just not very good. Let's see. Like, there's not a lot of value in Ikoria. Those are 400. Not a ton of value in the 2021 core set. Those are 360. Outlaws of Thunder Junction. You know, there's Bristly Bill, a couple other things. But a lot of these sets are, you know, they just weren't great sets. That's Japanese. Yeah, so like, look at, like, I mean, there's a couple decent cards in Theros Beyond Death, but there's not a ton. You know, it's not a very deep set, and there's not more value than like New Capenna. You know, like this is there's less value here than here. You know, there's just not a ton. So and those are going for the low is $100 more, $115 more. Karlov Manor is one that just jumped quite a bit recently. These used to be $250 in January, and now the low is $366. Also, not a lot of value in this set. There's, you know, some chance of pulling cereals, but not a reliable chance. You know, you've got one card to get Delny, and then you've got the Lance, which same thing with New Capenna basically. So it's not a guarantee. I think it's an interesting opportunity, and I think it'll for sure go higher than $250. Is it going to be $1,000 box? Of course not. But I think there's a pretty good odds that we see it jump up over the next few months to, you know, $350, $300. If collector boxes keep just going nuts like they have been and kind of snowballing, maybe it goes up above $400. But anyway, just interesting opportunity on a really cheap collector that I think might have some good value. Also, I don't see them using Triomes in like commander decks, or definitely probably not reprinting them anytime soon. If they did, that would obviously affect the value pretty significantly. But really interesting, something to keep an eye on. And if you got an opportunity, you know, sometimes people want to cash out on Facebook and they want to sell these for $200 or something just to unload a bunch of them. I would buy them up for sure. Anything under $250. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is these Chocobo bundles, which I love. One of my favorite sealed things to open. Prices have been going up considerably, like a lot. 200 a couple months ago. Now the low is or sorry, 324. It's jumped up a lot just in the past few days. 324. I just bought over the past 3 weeks. I bought a couple weeks ago. I bought 6 for 250. Then the following week, I bought another 6 for 260, and now the same seller is selling them for 290. And he's been under market the whole time. And he's right to increase the price. You know, this is just like a crazy chart. Like, look at the 1 month that just keeps going up. These are, obviously they're not printing anymore. Final Fantasy is obviously the most popular IP that Magic's ever seen. There's a huge demand. You know, like I mentioned, I sell on Whatnot. There's infinite demand for Final Fantasy cards. I open these and sell the cards, and you know, even if you get a box that doesn't have great Chocobo tracks, there's still usually enough value to cover the box, at least at like the 250, 260 price point. These are an amazing long-term hold. You know, these will, I can absolutely guarantee you, these in a year they're going to be $500-600 or more. The individual cards have been going up like crazy. So if you just click on any one of them and look at the chart, they've gone up. A couple months ago, this was a $100 card. Right now, the low is $194. It's doubled in price since April. All the cards, same thing. We look at Yuna, was 91, and now 192, or sorry, 182 is the low. So literally every single card, every single one of the Chocobo tracks has doubled. Same thing, this one 56, now it's 85. And they're just going to keep going up because they're not making more of them. The most popular IP, very limited product that's sold out very, very quickly. Another big important thing to keep in mind with these is they all come with all these lands. They come with 2 of each of these lands. So that's like solid added value on top of these Chocobo tracks. You're guaranteed, you know, like $12 in plains, $10 in forests, and $5 in islands and swamps, and like $5 in mountains in every box. And that pads another, I don't know what that adds up to, like $30. It just pads it. They sell super well. I sell these constantly. I'll usually sell them as 1 of each on Whatnot, and they always sell for $15 to $22 for 1 of each. Like, they're just super, super popular. All the Chocobo track cards themselves sell. There's huge demand for them. Basically everybody I know that's collecting Final Fantasy wants the full set of Chocobo tracks, and they're desperately after all of them to complete their set. So just really smart buy. I don't think there's any chance that this does not increase and probably double its value in the next year as a sealed box. And if you're just buying them to open, there's good value in ripping it. You know, there's a bunch of Final Fantasy boosters in there, which you can either rip for value because they're, you know, pretty decent, or you can just sell them sealed for like $10 a piece. And it comes with, I think, 9 maybe more. Let's see. 10 play boosters. So yeah, just great value if you want to rip it today. If you can get one for under 300, just really good. The EV based on this thing, I use a sift of $1.50 just to make sure I catch all the lands in there. And the break-even price for you buying it, and again, keep in mind this break-even price is after fees. So this is after like the 12-14% fees you're paying to sell online. Your break-even price is $300. And that's with average pulls. You know, the way this website works is, you know, it runs, I don't know, 1 million models of ripping it and gives you the average number. So, and you can keep clicking this and it's going to come out around the same every time. But if you can get them for under 300, really smart buy, either to hold or to rip. And, you know, there's always a good chance that you can pull a bigger, you know, one of the bigger Chocobo track cards as well. And if you do, you know, this can easily be, you can pay 300 and rip, you know, $400, $450 in cards. That's happened to me a bunch of times. I've probably ripped like 30, 35 of these. But anyway, that's all I got for today. I appreciate everybody if you made it this long. This is my first video for YouTube, so appreciate everybody hanging out. I hope you enjoyed some of the info and it helps you on your journey through Magic. Have a good rest of your day, and I will catch you guys next time.